Today we're going to review how to simplify fractions, and when they get a little bit more complex, we're going to start with this one, and then I'll explain more as we get into it. It's going to help with exponents and simplifying exponents and understanding the properties. First, I have 5 over 5. I'm basically going to simplify this, and most of us know how to do it. This fraction bar right here means to divide. And so I'm going to do 5 divided by 5. Those end up canceling out. 5 divided by 5. And when I say cancel out, I mean it's going to make 1. Because anytime you have 1 of something, then you multiply by 1, or it's another form of canceling out. So 5 divided by 5, that's just going to equal 1. We'll use this for our next example. I'm going to keep the same numbers. I had 5 over 5. But this time I want to make it 5 times 5 times 5. And I want to divide that by 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. Now, if I ask you to simplify this, it may look daunting or challenging, but it's not too bad. We're going to take it piece by piece. So first I have a 5 here. I see a 5 down here. I know that 5 divided by 5 is equal to 1. And when we have 1 of something, it's going to cancel out. So these will cancel out. This 5 divided by, still have my division, divided by 5 will equal 1. And I can put these 1s up here just so we know. And if it equals 1, it's going to cancel out. I have here 5 divided by 5 is going to equal 1, or it's going to cancel out. I have no 5s left up here. And I have a 5 left down here. So I have no 5s up here, but I knew that each of these canceled out to make 1. So that's 1 times 1 times 1. Well, 1 times 1 is 1 times 1 is 1. And what am I left with down here? Well, these canceled out. It gave us that 1 times 1 times 1. And the 1s are what happened when it canceled out. And now times 5. Well, 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 5, which was what was left over, is 5. So this problem would simplify to 1 over 5. Let's try another one. If I have 7 times 7 times 7 divided by 7 times 7, and I ask you to simplify, you can go ahead and do that. I see this 7 and this 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1. And these are going to cancel out. This 7 divided by 7 will equal 1. And they're also going to cancel out. I have a 7 up here and nothing left here, so now I can simplify. 1, this is what happened when it canceled out. 1 times 1 is 1, or I don't have a denominator anymore. 1 times 1 from canceling out is just 1, times 7. So this gives me an answer of 7 over 1. And if I have nothing left on the denominator, I know that that's just the same thing as 7. Let's try another one. This next one is a little trickier. I have 3 times 8 times 8 times 8 divided by 8 times 8. So I'm going to start with this. I see my 3. I want to simplify it. I don't have any 3s at the bottom, so I'm going to leave that alone. I have an 8 here. I can divide it by this 8 here. 8 divided by 8, those will cancel out. And those gives me 1. This 8 divided by 8 will cancel out. Gives me 1. I'm left with an 8 up here. Nothing left on the bottom. I have an 8, I have a 3, and then I have these 1s that canceled out. Now these, anytime it cancels out, doesn't change your answer at all. 1 times 1, 1. 3, well, I know these 2 1s right here, sorry. Those are just going to cancel out. They don't mean anything. They're not going to change the result. So I have a 3 left, and I have a times 8. So I know that this is the same as 3 times 8. And 3 times 8 is equal to 24 over 1. Anything over 1 is just my numerator, 24. Let's give 2 more examples. 2 more try. The next one is 7 times 7 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. And that's going to be divided by 7 times 7 times 7 times 5. So let's try this one out. I'm going to start to simplify this. I see I have 7s. So those are going to cancel out. And we're going to get to the point where we're not writing those 1s anymore. We just know they cancel out. These 7s cancel out. I have a 5 next. That's going to cancel out with this 5. I can do 5 divided by 7, but that's not going to help me because it doesn't cancel out at all. Yes, I can do 5 divided by 7. Probably going to get a weird decimal, but I want to I want to divide by a number that I can cancel out with. So 5 divided by 5. Those are going to cancel out. And let's see what I have left. I have left in the denominator, I have a 7. And in the numerator, I have 5 times 5 times 5. So I'm going to write that 5 times 5 times 5 left out. Now I can simplify this one step further. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5, I like to think of money. If I have 5 quarters, I got $1. 25 over 7. I know that's an improper fraction. You could do top and bottom out, but right now we're going to leave it like that. Last thing we're going to do is one that has variables. So I have A times A times B times B times B divided by A times A times A times A times B times B. This time I have variables. They work the same way. A divided by A is going to cancel out. It doesn't matter what A is. If A is 12, 12 divided by 12 will cancel out. If A is 5 million, 5 million divided by 5 million will cancel out. Next, A divided by A, I'll cancel those out. I have a B next. Can I do B divided by A, or should I do B divided by B? I want it to cancel out, so I'm going to do B divided by my B. And this B can also be divided by this B. I'm just going to circle what I have left so I don't forget about it. I'm left with just a B on top, so I'll write that. This is A times A on bottom. Now I need to simplify this, then my B stays a B. Now I have A times A. A times A, what is that going to equal? Well, I have 2 A's, and I have a base of A, so that's A to the second power. I know that if I expanded this, A to the second power is the same as A times A. This can't be 2A. It's not. 2A, that would be A plus A. If we combine like terms, we need that addition. This one is A squared, so there's my final answer.